In this video, I'm going to give you everything you need to know in order to make $1,000 a day landscaping. We're going to be covering everything from licensing and insurance, equipment, the services that you can offer, how to get the jobs, pricing, and if you stick around until the end, I'm also going to give you the key for making the most money offering this as a service without burning yourself out. But before we jump into it, hit that thumbs up button for me. And if at any point in the video you get value, comment the word value in the comment section. I'll hashtag you a real one because it really helps me to get this video in front of more people. Also, if you're going to start this business, you need a way to send estimates, invoices, collect payments, and keep track of customers. And you can do all that for free within Quote IQ if you download it on the App Store or the Google Play Store. I'm also going to leave a link in the comment section description so you can try any paid tier of Quote IQ for $1 at myquoteiq.com. So check it out in the comment section and the description if you're interested. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. First and foremost, I want to make sure we cover licensing and insurance. Anytime you're thinking about starting a new endeavor, it's incredibly important to keep in mind having some sort of a business structure for yourself as well as some sort of insurance so that way you protect yourself from any liabilities on any of the jobs. So first and foremost, with regards to licensing, all I'm talking about here is an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp, some kind of business entity that essentially separates your business assets from your personal assets. So in the event that you were to get sued for any reason, basically all of your personal assets would be protected and they could only come after the business. So that's one of the reasons why business licensing is so important, and getting an LLC started is really important just so that way you can protect yourself in the event that anything were to happen in the future. I'll be completely honest with you guys. In the beginning of my business, I didn't have a license or a business license. I didn't have insurance. I didn't have anything. I was just going out and doing jobs for customers, and that's the way that I started out doing things. Now, as my business has evolved, as we started doing bigger work for bigger businesses and companies and all kind of stuff like that, then I needed to have the proper insurance in place. I needed to have the proper business structure in place in order to service larger customers. But in the beginning of my business in particular, I did not have these. So I would highly recommend getting an LLC from the start though. And I would highly recommend getting some good insurance because you never know what could go wrong on a property. You never know, you could be weed eating and you could throw a rock through somebody's window. So what I'll do is I'll also leave a link for a free insurance quote in the comment section and the description. So if you're interested in just getting a quote, I'll have that down below for you. So first and foremost, get a business structure, get some insurance, so that way you're protected. And the next thing that we need to get into is what equipment you're going to need in order to start this business. Now, a few years back, I did a complete equipment tour with pretty much everything that I used on a day-to-day basis. By no means did I have a super large landscaping company. What I did is whenever I was in college, I would just do landscaping jobs on the side because I didn't want to work for anybody else. And that landscaping business then evolved into doing pressure washing work, into flipping vehicles, into getting a vending business, basically into a whole bunch of other businesses that were able to support me while I was in school. So by no means is this going to be like heavy machinery or anything. I had a small landscaping company. I just did small residential jobs. So if you're looking to scale up, obviously you're probably going to need some bigger stuff than this. However, in the beginning of my business, I was just trying to make money while I was going to school, and this equipment got the job done. So first and foremost, you're going to need a rake. You guys can probably see that one coming. You're going to need a wheelbarrow. Wheelbarrow is going to come in handy if you're doing anything like laying sod or if you're hauling mulch around, things of that nature. You're also going to need some gloves. You're going to need some eye protection. We always want to be cognizant of PPE. You know, the last thing you want to do is be weed eating or something and throw something in your eye. So eye protection is always good because you can't really replace your eyes. You know what I mean? You could replace a pair of glasses though. So gloves, eye protection. Next, you're going to need a weed eater. So that way we can put a nice line on some of these beds and get them looking really pretty. You're going to need hedge trimmers. You're going to need tarps. I like to have tarps because what I would do is if I was working in the bed, I'd throw everything on the tarp and then later I could drag it and dump it or whatever the case may be. You can also use buckets to accomplish the same thing. If you have some big planter buckets, those are good. Can hold all the scraps and all the weeds and stuff, and then you can dump them later. But basically something to kind of hold any scrap that you're gonna have to throw away. You can get a sprayer for a weed killer if you want to, apply it whenever you're doing some of these jobs, as well as some loppers for things like stray limbs. And then if you want to get into some of the other things, you could have a shovel. Obviously, if you're shoveling in your mulch, you're also going to need a blower. Obviously, to blow everything off. That's how I like to finish every job. Blow everything off, make it look good. And I actually give you guys another tip. You can spray everything after you're done with water, and everything actually just looks better wet. One of the blowers that I specifically like is a backpack blower, just because they're better. They're also more expensive, so keep that in mind. And then last but not least, gas and oil mixture. Unless you want to do like electric stuff. If you do electric stuff, you just need to make sure you have enough batteries on hand. I know now for my home weed eater, my home blower, and my home shrub trimmers, they're all electric. However, when you get out on a job, it's a little bit different. You're not sure how long you're going to be using things for. So I really probably would just go gas on those things. As well as, you can get a chainsaw. I had a chainsaw, did some tree trimming. But, anything past this is kind of getting into an area where you're kind of leveling up a little bit with regards to some of the services that you're offering. I kind of wanted to keep everything as basic as possible with regards to equipment. So that way I didn't give you guys a big barrier to entry with regards to how much you're going to be spending on this equipment. So I would say for probably 1,000, maybe $2,000, you can get all of this stuff and you could be ready to go, which is a very low barrier to entry with regards to cost for equipment. Next, let's transition into services. Now, I think it's important to keep in mind that anytime that I was doing these landscaping jobs, it would just be front and back beds that I was doing, and I was, redoing them for people. So weed pulling was something that we were doing. We were shrub trimming. I would upsell into laying fabric. You can lay down landscape fabric, and what it'll do is act as another barrier for weeds coming up. I know people have controversial opinions about that on the internet. However, I have them in my own beds. They work perfect for keeping weeds out of certain spots, and they just work better than not having them. So I would, upsell into a fabric lining, new mulch install. So, either would clear out the old mulch, put new mulch in, or we just put new mulch in over the old mulch if it was the same color, as well as plant install. You guys can upsell into plants. Plants are a good way to make some extra money because you're going to raise the price on everything. And we're going to talk about that within the pricing section. But you could do plant install, you could do plant removal. Sometimes people would have dead stuff that I would pull out and, take out of there, make things look a little bit better. Tree trimming. I did some tree trimming. Like I'd mentioned before, I trimmed some crepe myrtles and things of that nature with a chainsaw. Not something that I would really recommend because once you get into stuff like that, then you're having to haul all that kind of stuff away. Now, obviously, if you want to make more money, if you want to elevate the business a little bit more, you can go in that direction. But if you're keeping things bare bones, I just wouldn't even worry about tree trimming unless it's like some very minute stuff. Another thing you can offer is irrigation. If anybody wants to put in maybe some sprinklers, me and my dad recently did that at my house. It was very easy to put them in, pretty self-explanatory as well. So you kind of have to have a basic knowledge of how irrigation works, and you can offer that as an upsell. Once again, kind of one of those things that you want to build up to. I don't think you would have to launch your business with that, but it's just a good way to make a little bit of extra money. And then last but not least, we have maintenance plans. So I think a lot of people forget they want to start this business, they want to make money quickly, and the biggest way to make money is obviously doing these bed flips. But another way to make money on a recurring basis is on maintenance plans. And we're going to get into that towards the end of the video, kind of talking about the longevity of your business and not burning yourself out. That's basically all the services that you can offer, everything with regards to their beds and making them look better. You can also offer in services like where you put in bed rails or you put in little thing. You can offer fountains. You can offer anything that makes the beds look better, anything that they're willing to pay for, any kind of barriers that you can put in. Whatever the customer wants to do above and beyond, just making the bed look better. That's all things that you can upsell into. Next, let's get into how to get these jobs. For myself, I know that I passed out flyers. Flyers were a good way for me to kind of get my foot in the door with some customers. I also posted to Facebook groups for free, so you can jump into the Facebook groups. You can post in there, hey, is anybody looking for this service? I will say that one of the benefits to doing landscaping as a service is there is like a much lower competition than there is for other service industries, like pressure washing in particular. And so when you get into an industry where there's less competition and there's still a high demand for the service, then you give yourself the opportunity to actually make a ton of money. The beautiful thing about higher end neighborhoods is they also need this kind of work done. They have to maintain a certain level with regards to their front beds, and those are really good places to get a lot of customers because they have to maintain that level or they will be fined by the HOA and they don't want to do the work. And so that's when you come in and you can say, hey, I'll make everything look good for you. Here's the price. Let's get you on a maintenance plan, yada, yada, yada. Basically leveraging every single customer that you can into as much money as possible and then continuing that service for as long as possible as well. So posting in Facebook groups is a good way. Like I said, not a ton of competition, not a ton of people posting. And so it gives you a good opportunity to get a bunch of jobs that way. You can run Facebook ads in. I actually have a training about a video ad that landed us over $13,000 in jobs in 1 month. So if you guys want to get my complete video ad breakdown, I'll leave a link in the comment section and the description. You can check that out for absolutely free. And you can make a ton of money with that. I've been able to run ads for people and make tons and tons of money. I've ran ads for painters. I've ran ads for seal coating companies, pressure washing companies, my own landscaping company. I've ran ads when I had a mobile snowball concession business, and I'm just really good at ads. Once you kind of figure out what moves the needle with regards to running Facebook ads, you can make a lot of money utilizing that platform because it is an interruption based platform. Basically, we're getting somebody before they're actively searching for it. We're making it easy for them. And in which case you want to deploy a couple different strategies that I talk about within that video that I'll leave linked in the comment section description. Like I said, free training, check it out. Another way that you can obviously get business is having a Google My Business page. Now, if you're just starting out, I wouldn't recommend really going the route of getting a GMB for landscaping, just because you don't know if it's something that you're going to stick with. And I think you can get plenty enough jobs using, Facebook, using free posts and Facebook groups. GMB has kind of got a little convoluted at the moment. There's a ton of people that are trying to get GMBs approved for a ton of different services, and with that comes a lot of red tape on Google's part, trying to protect their platform essentially. So it takes a lot longer now to get a GMB set up. If it's something that you know that you're gonna, do for a long time, obviously go ahead, get the GMB set up. But if you're not sure, then I would just stick to the other marketing methods for the time being. So that's how you can get jobs. Obviously, once you get into a neighborhood, you want to leverage that neighborhood so you can ask for referrals in the neighborhood. You can go door knocking if you want to. You can say, hey, we just did Miss Janet's flower beds down the street. Did you want to get yours done? Whenever you finish Miss Janet's house, hey, Miss Janet, would you mind posting us in the neighborhood Facebook group? Great. If not, do you have a next door? Can you post us in next door? There's a bunch of ways that you can get one job, leverage that job into a bunch more jobs. I used to do this all the time. I would do this with pressure washing. I'd pass out flyers in an entire neighborhood. I would get one job off of all the flyers I passed out in the neighborhood. I would say, hey, can you post me in the neighborhood Facebook group? They'd post me, and then I'd get 9 more jobs just off of that one post. Once one of the neighbors has had a good experience with you, posts good before and after pictures with you, then you're off to the races pretty much with regards to getting work in the whole neighborhood. And that brings me to another point, before and after pics. Every single job that you do, get before and after pics of that job, so that way you can share those out. That way you give the homeowner the opportunity to share those out as well. And it just really will help you out in the long run when you build out your portfolio of all these great before and after pics. Last thing with regards to getting customers, every single customer that you do a job for, ask them if there's anybody that could refer you to once you're done. I guarantee if you do a good job for these customers, if you have a good price for these customers, they will say, yeah, I actually have, so and so, or I have 3 or 4 people that I can refer you out to because you did such a great job. So it's important that you ask to be referred. And when you do ask, it's going to put you in a position where you're able to get a ton more work without spending any more money, which is basically the point of, getting customers. And then, like I said, we're going to talk about maintenance plans towards the end, but having a maintenance plan to where when you service them once, you get them on the maintenance plan so you can basically service them forever. And that way their landscaping never gets as bad as it was whenever you first serviced it. Next, let's go ahead and get into pricing. Basically how I did my pricing whenever I first started, I based all of it around my time. So I would say, how long is this job going to take? I would break kind of each section into hour increments. I would say, okay, this job I think is going to take around 6 hours. How much do I want to make per hour? $50 per hour. Okay, $300 baseline for my time. Now, I just threw out random numbers just to kind of give you guys a sense of what I'm talking about, but that's kind of how I would do it. I would have an hourly rate that I charge. I would guesstimate based on the scope of work, what the hourly rate's going to be, and then that would kind of be my base for what the pricing is. And then we can factor in all of our upcharges as well. So upcharge on materials, upcharge on plants, upcharge on laying in fabric liners, whatever the case may be. That's where you're going to make some more money on the ticket without having to actually put that towards labor. So have a labor price, have an upcharge price for all the different stuff that you're going to bring onto the property, and that's going to help you raise your average ticket price. Another important thing is having a minimum price as well. You don't want to have to come out there and do any jobs for any less than a couple $100, in my personal opinion, just because of the time, energy, and effort that it takes to get out there. Obviously, if you're not that busy, then minimums don't really matter. But if you got a book of customers that you service regularly, then that's going to be cutting into the time that you're going to be able to serve other customers as well. So don't stress on pricing too much in the beginning. Basically, what you want to do is you kind of want to develop a baseline, right? So this is a good way to kind of feel out your market with regards to pricing. Charge this way in the beginning. If you notice that you're closing all the jobs that you're quoting, then you need to go up on your price. If you're not closing enough jobs that you're quoting, then you need to go down on your price. And you kind of want to find that happy medium where you're able to close, 50, 60, 70% of all the jobs that you have coming in. So that way you're maximizing on the money while also not servicing, everyone for super cheap. And if you guys need help keeping track of your close ratio, that's something that you can do within Quote IQ within the dashboard. A couple other things you can keep track of within the dashboard: expenses. Things do cost money when it comes to running a business like this, and it's incredibly important that you keep all your receipts with regards to how much you're spending, so that way when tax time comes and all that kind of stuff. The other thing is, a lot of people claim, oh, I made $3 million in my landscaping business, but they don't ever bring in like what the costs were in that business. And within Quote IQ, we give you a profit and loss statement so that way you can see, okay, this is how much money we made versus how much money we spent and how much money we actually kept of that. And so there's a lot of other features within Quote IQ that are absolutely great, but I would say the dashboard's one of the best things because it actually gives you a pulse on what's happening within your business. So baseline price it in the beginning and then raise or lower your price depending upon how much you're actually closing. Last thing that I want to end with is landscaping is hard as it is. Okay. It's hard work. It's hard labor. That's why there's not like a ton of people out there like offering a bunch of landscaping work. So if you're the one doing it, it's best to balance your schedule with maintenance clients and then big jobs, a few times a week, right? You don't want to be burning out. You don't want to be doing 2 big jobs a day every day of the week by yourself because before you know it, you're going to be really sick of it and you're going to want to bounce out of it. The biggest thing is we want to do enough big jobs to supplement our income, and then we want to turn those big jobs into recurring customers because it's a lot easier if you had 8 to 10 recurring customers on a Monday that you're just going out plucking weeds, knocking a little bit off the top, sprinkling in some new mulch, like just 30 minutes to an hour on each client, making couple $100 every single month, and you just hitting a month after month after month after month after month. So we want to have those big clients to give us that big influx of money, but at the end of the day, we really want to try to leverage those people into maintenance contracts so that way we can continue to service them. Because at the end of the day, if we built our whole business on nothing but maintenance contracts, we could then build out a separate part of our business, and we could hire some employees to just come in and do the big work, and then that way, you're not doing back-breaking work 7 days a week, 365. It's more manageable that way. And then you can actually sell the business. If you guys built up a book of recurring customers that you just handled their landscaping and you had, let's say, 300 or 400 customers, you could sell that business for a ton of money. Like just the landscape maintenance business, all you're doing is, removing weeds, trimming shrubs, and adding in a little new mulch every time you go visit. And it could be like on a monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly basis, whatever the case may be. But you're building recurring revenue for yourself and your business, and you're just keeping serving those clients. The most expensive part in this business is acquiring new customers. So if you can keep those customers and service them forever, then you don't lose. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up button. If you got value out of it, comment the word value and I'll hashtag you a real one down below. If you're ready to start this business, say I am ready and hold yourself accountable. The biggest thing is everybody can do all the research in the world with regards to starting their business, but actually pulling the trigger, actually taking action, actually taking that first step to make it happen is pretty much the hardest part for everybody. And so it's one thing to watch a video. It's another thing to actually go out there and take action. So if that's something that you're going to do, comment down below, I will, and hold yourself accountable. If you see other people in the comment section commenting, I will, comment under it and say, hey, did you get started? Where are you at? What are you doing? Hold yourself accountable. Hold your other brothers in the comment section accountable. And let's go out there and make some money. Hustle hard and get that money, baby. Peace.